investment coach, Mr. Entrepreneur, and welcome to another Facebook Live with me. And today I want to share something very powerful. It's been my life journey in business, okay? And I'm going to be sharing with you about 4 major failure stories in business that led me to billions today.
Guys, how you doing today?
Okay, sorry about that, but I'm sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, you can watch me. The first story I want to share of failure, and this is very real, was when I used to hawk electronics in Ijebu. We had an experience where there was ASU strike. I was on campus then, and it was it really ASU strike? I think it was ASU strike for 8 months or something. And I said to myself, instead of just sitting, I didn't like going home. I must confess, there were a whole lot of negativities, so I just didn't like going home. And I've always made up my mind, by the time I'm graduating from school, I'm gonna go, move into my house. And I've always wanted to, run business and be financially free, so that all this transition can be easy. So I joined this company. I remember my girlfriend there used to call me Oga Manager. So they had this program where they give you electronics. You start hawking from house to house, door to door. And if you're able to sell to a level, you get, by the way, it wasn't salary based, it was commission based. And also, as you sell to a level, they also promote you, and you get certain promotions. So I started hawking electronics. The head office then was in Djibouti. I was schooling in Agowe, Go State. And so I started, hawk, I would narrate the importance of iron. You need this iron, is special, it's different type, doesn't take too much electricity. You need this kettle, you need this, you need that. And it was funny because I was a very shy guy growing up, very shy. So having to move from house to house, door to door, to sell electronics, it was one of the most toughest thing I've ever done. And it was in hot sun. There was no vehicle. And the funny thing was, I didn't have money to even take Okada. So it wasn't like, and even if I took Okada, to where? So you just, as you branch out, just start knocking people's houses. But let me say this. There, I learned how to be a rugged marketer. A lot of you want to become very successful entrepreneurs, but you don't like to sell. Let me tell you this. There is no successful person in this world who is not a salesperson. Not one. Not one. Not Bill Gates, not Jeff Bezos, not Mark Zuckerberg, not even your pastor is a salesperson. Right? I mean, Reverend Sam will tell you there are few sales books or marketing books he's not read. Okay? And that's the person who's just being sincere. I don't care how spiritual your pastor is, he has read sales books and has picked up selling and marketing strategies, added it to the gospel of Jesus. Jesus, for me, was one of the best marketers the world has ever known. How can you start a business with 12 people, with yourself, by the way, convince 12 people to leave their business? Peter was a very successful fisherman, right? And Jesus convinced him to leave his fish business, and he had a very successful in-law who, I don't even know the story Peter told his in-law. By the way, I've been to Jerusalem and I've visited all these places, and I know they're real, right? Jesus convinced the 12, and today we have over 4 billion, over 3 billion Christians all over the world. That's a great salesman. So you don't like selling. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want money. Let me repeat myself again. For you not to like selling is as good as you don't like money. I want everybody to type that quotable code. If you do not like selling, you do not like money. Type it again. If you do not like selling, you don't like money. Let me tell you, the major characteristic of a poor man, okay, is hatred for sales. Another quotable quote, you should help me type that. The biggest and very distinctive characteristics of a poor man is hatred for sales. And let me tell you, another major characteristic of a poor person love for demarketing him or her. When you meet an average poor person, the first thing that person does is to demarket him or her. You know, we struggling people, you see, our life is you are demarketing yourself. You start the conversation by telling me how bad things are, how much of a nobody you are. Who does that? And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. You're demarketing yourself. Rich people, you meet an average rich person, they're already telling you good things about themselves. They're telling you progress they are making. They're telling you things they're doing. They're telling you projects they are running. Okay? You meet a poor person, he's already demarketed. I'm struggling. My life is a mess. How much of a nobody you are. Who does that? And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. You're demarketing yourself. Rich people, you meet an average rich person, they're already telling you good things about themselves. They're telling you progress they are making. They're telling you things they're doing. They're telling you projects they are running. Okay? You meet a poor person, he's already demarketed. I'm struggling. My life is a mess. How much of a nobody you are. Who does that? And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. You're demarketing yourself. Rich people, you meet an average rich person, they're already telling you good things about themselves. They're telling you progress they are making. They're telling you things they're doing. They're telling you projects they are running. Okay? You meet a poor person, he's already demarketed. I'm struggling. My life is a mess. How much of a nobody you are. Who does that? And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. You're demarketing yourself. Rich people, you meet an average rich person, they're already telling you good things about themselves. They're telling you progress they are making. They're telling you things they're doing. They're telling you projects they are running. Okay? You meet a poor person, he's already demarketed. I'm struggling. My life is a mess. How much of a nobody you are. Who does that? And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. You're demarketing yourself. Rich people, you meet an average rich person, they're already telling you good things about themselves. They're telling you progress they are making. They're telling you things they're doing. They're telling you projects they are running. Okay? You meet a poor person, he's already demarketed. I'm struggling. My life is a mess. How much of a nobody you are. Who does that? So the first failure I had was hawking electronics. In Ijebu, it was terrible. I can tell you that. It was terrible, but I'm grateful I had that experience. Because honestly, if I had not hawked electronics and go through all that stress and overcome all the challenges that brought my way, right, I will not be where I am today. I'm telling you that for a fact. I will not be where I am today. I like my frame to just remain the way it is. If you can, please, I appreciate that. I like the topic to stick to the screen. Okay, so again, it's very important, guys, that you know that a lot of the so-called failures that you've had are quite important for your own success. You ain't going to be very successful in the long run if you don't fail. You need to fail. Failure is good. And so I failed selling electronics, and by the definition of fail was that it was tough and I didn't do much. Sometimes I do 3 sales, sometimes I do 1 sale, some other times I did 0 sales. But of course, in no time the strike was over and I had to return back to school. But it was one of those things I did and I'm proud of. And it didn't matter that I didn't do well. I wasn't always the best sales guy. But I learned some fundamental lessons. Number 1, that selling was important to success. Number 2, that there was hard work involved in that process. And that selling wasn't just going to happen. Wasn't something I was just going to be lucky to sell. I had to put in the work. I had to knock on every door. I have to, push hard until I got that which I desired. And I'm glad it worked. Number 2, was selling popcorn, right? Yes, you heard me. I used to sell popcorn. Now this was more miserable for me, right? Because I remember my first time trying to do the popcorn. So I was attending a church on campus where we had over 1,000 people, and after service it was more like there was nothing for us to eat. A lot of times the service 2 hours, 3 hours, and people didn't eat before coming to church, so they're hungry. So I said, you know what, I could start selling popcorn. I met a guy who had some machine, bought it from him, learned the whole process, started buying the corn, oil, and butter. Sometimes we mix butter, we get sugar, and then I started that. And then it was okay. It was okay. But I was running an NGO then. It was over 12 years ago. I was running an NGO that were working with orphans, we were reaching out to orphans, to the less privileged, we were giving to charity, and we needed to help the poor. And so I was really out of cash, and I said I needed to scale up the popcorn business. An idea occurred to me that Redeem Camp always have an event every month, first Friday of the month. I don't know if you remember or you are aware. If you are aware, type I'm aware. First Friday of every month, Redeem Camp is always hosting an event. First Friday of every month. So for me it was an opportunity to be there and to sell my popcorn. So I went to convince the person selling oil in Agowe there. She sells oil. I told her I needed 2 keg, 5-liter keg of oil, and I was going to pay her for half of the liter, okay, and then I'll get 1 keg and half addition, and I promise her returning on Saturday I'm going to pay her money. Yeah, and this is one of the, let me say this, by the way guys, I don't know if you are enjoying this. If you're enjoying this type, I'm enjoying it. I can see Malcolm says, yeah, popcorn at the experience under the rain. Ooh, Malcolm knows my story. Yes, that's even not, I'm not even going to the experience, Lagos experience. That's another pathetic experience. But let's even start from the beginning before we even go to the Lagos experience part. But guys, share this video if you are getting value, you're learning. Share, hit the share button. Okay, share on Facebook, on WhatsApp group, on LinkedIn group. Copy the link, hit on the Facebook party icon, and start inviting your friends. Share, please. Get everybody in. So I remember I went to her also sugar. I paid a token. I promised on Saturday I was going to do the rest. Then I came to Yaba. It was then I used to buy the corn in Yaba. So I couldn't afford a full bag of corn. I had to buy half bag. And even the half bag, I don't. Okay, I think it was either. Yeah, I think the issue was I had money for half bag, and I took an extra bag. Everything I needed. I think, I'm not sure, I had to drop something as a guarantee, whether my school ID card, I can't remember, but I dropped something because the guy selling the corn wasn't totally convinced he should just give me a bag of corn and I will bring his money back. So I think I dropped something for that bag of corn. So I had a bag and a half, and I was off to Redeem Camp. And then of course, got there again, had to struggle to get a space to sell my corn. It was a whole lot of headache, going through all that process. Whole lot of headache, but I did it anyway. Oh Lord, my eye have seen. My eye have seen, my ear have heard. It is well, but we've been through a whole lot. But thank God. God is good. God is good. We serve a good God, by the way. We serve a good God. So I remember, I then, went to the Redeem Camp, sold my corn, but it was hard. You won't believe it. I made a loss of 5,000 naira. Yeah, I think 5,000 or thereabout. Because I also got a cabman to take me from Agowe to Redeem Camp. Promised him also when we returned to Agowe I was going to pay him. So by the time I paid everybody their money, I was in debt of about 5,000 naira. Guess what? The next month of Holy Ghost Congress, I was back in Redeem Camp to sell my popcorn. I was back. The next month, I think I did 2,000 loss. The third month, I was back again. I think this time around was 1,000 naira loss. The following month, I was back. I made my first, was it 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000? I shall remember my first, profit. I bought a wristwatch for my mother, my late mom, who died of ovarian cancer. I remember giving her the watch. Instead of her to even thank me, my mother would say, "How much did you buy it? What's it wear?" My mother always have this feeling that I'm not a good negotiator, and that anytime I buy things, they must have cheated me. So I remember taking that wristwatch to my mother. I expected her to, "Oh, my son, good job," and all that. I'm Elolora. How much did you buy? How much did you buy? They must have cheated you. God bless my mother's soul. May her soul rest in peace. So I just felt, and there are a couple of lessons to bring out of this. Number one is, I don't care how young you are, buy things for your parents. They struggle to raise you. My mother used to, she sold her jewelries to send us to school. She used to take loan to send us to school. So buying her just how much wristwatch was a peanut. And the lesson to all of you, you don't know when you will lose your parent. It's still one of the proudest moments of my life that I sold popcorn, I made some little money, and I bought my mother a wristwatch. It's still, because of course she died before I could become anybody tangible, right? She died before my business could see the light of the day. And she was the one always, working hard to support me, whenever I had business ideas, and to give me money and encouragement. But I remember the first time I made that profit, I went home and bought a wristwatch and I gave it to her. But the lesson also that I learned from selling popcorn is never you give up. Never you give up. Go back again. I remember sharing a story of how I lost 120 million in real estate, and somebody typed, and it's funny how shallow sometimes we think. And the person said, "Does it make sense to have failed and try it again?" Absolutely yes. The only thing is, you don't try it again the way you did it the first time. You ask yourself, what were the mistakes? What did I do wrong? How was I foolish in this process? And then you change the method. But absolutely you do it again. That's the only thing that guarantees you're going to win. Let me say this, and this is a powerful quotable quote. You have not failed until you quit. Can anybody type that? You have not failed until you quit. Everybody come and type that for me again. You have not failed until you quit. Okay? You haven't failed. So the whole point that it didn't work out doesn't mean you failed. It's when you give up that you fail. Can everybody do me a favor? I want you to please share this video. Okay, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, share across all social media platforms right now, please. Can you help me do that? Okay, share this video right now. Share on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. There's something called Facebook Party. It's an icon on your right hand side. I'd like you to go click on it and also invite all your friends, okay? Because I really don't know why we're just having few people here. Okay, we're just having 60-something people. We should have more than that now. We should, if I'm to be gossiping about somebody now, okay, which is none of my business, we will be having 500 people watching me right now. And even those of you here, you will have shared this video if it was gossip I was doing. Okay, if it's something that is none of my business, okay, that we're doing here, stories of how your teacher died, you will have all been sharing. So please, let's share good content that will change the life of our people. I always come here to encourage us because Africans are always afraid of failure, which is why we ain't doing much. Racism is a function of poverty. Let's not deceive ourselves. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. When we were growing up, was there no serious racism against, Asian people? Yes, tell me. If there was no serious racism against Chinese, Is there racism now? Is it not reducing now? Because China is number 2. People are beginning to respect any Chinese citizen because you know how powerful China is. Racism is also tied to poverty. And the reason people are poor is lack of application. First of all, lack of knowledge. So my people perish for lack of knowledge. Second of all, lack of application of the knowledge we get. And when I say knowledge now, knowledge about business, enterprise, investment, wealth creation. Lack of knowledge. Okay, lack of knowledge. You saw the movement against the Jewish people. Why has it reduced now? The Jewish people sat together and began a process of learning and training themselves on wealth creation. Okay, wealth creation. And this is how you do. And so what do we do now? If I were to have come here and just tell people not to go back into business, that is, you be afraid of failure, you will enjoy it. If I told you I have come here and I said they duped me of Kinikon, everybody will say, hey! But listen, every successful person had failed before. They kept at it. Do you know how tough it was for Mark Zuckerberg to float Facebook? He was broke many times. He was struggling to raise funds. They were in a small house. You seen the picture of where Facebook started. You see the picture of where Google started. All these people continue to push it. Okay, and these are the stories we're sharing. So number 2, business was popcorn. And the lesson I learned from my popcorn business was keep at it. Don't give up. Continue. Okay? Ugo says, I owe a business which is one startup level. I lost 1.5 million early this year before the lockdown. But this, your lecture is really rekindling my spirit and I vow never to give up. Thank you. You see what we're talking about? Thank you, Ugo, for sharing this, because this is why we're doing this. Because a whole lot of you, we see somebody who is successful, and the first thing is, and this is one of the reasons why we don't make it in Africa, the first thing an average African starts is to be envious. We don't know what they did. We don't know who they are. Oh, forget that one. Instead of you to know that they were also like you. They feel like you. They strong, but the difference between them and you is that they didn't give up. You were giving up. You gave up. You gave up. I will never forget a lesson I learned from one of my biggest business mentors. Some of the people who used to squat with him. In fact, one of them was an intern with a firm that was working in his company. True story, he became a governor. Another one was his general manager, he became a governor. The one who was squatting became chairman of a bank, another became MD of a bank. And that was, I will never forget the time I sit down with that man. I'm always learning the power of not giving up. Of course, I encountered a lot of challenges, left Nigeria. Today he comes back to Nigeria. He's, by the way, a successful man. Very successful in every way you want to analyze it. But he keeps looking at some of the guys who are his really small boys. Like boy. But today they are governors, they are owners of banks, they are top guys today. Don't give up. Stay there. Stay there. That's the rule to success. And stop being angry that some people are successful than you. The secret, in many cases, they just refuse to give up. My third business. I don't know if you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying this type, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Come on, guys. If you're enjoying this, can you type, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Everybody, talk to me. If you're enjoying this type, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Everybody, talk to me if you're enjoying this. Type, I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying. So, beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad to know that you're all enjoying this. I'm happy to know you're all enjoying this. Good to know, good to know. Thank you. I can see Malcolm X is enjoying it. Who else is enjoying this? Abubakar. Okay, Shuaibu says, I'm getting value. Alamide. Oh, everybody's enjoying this. Thank you, thank you. Guys, share this video. If you're enjoying it, then I want you to share the video on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. Okay, also click on the Facebook party icon and invite as many people as possible. Invite them. Number 3 business was I used to organize trade fairs. So this was very pathetic. By the way, my popcorn experience, Malcolm was reminding me, from selling popcorn in Redeem Camp, I scale up to the Lagos experience. My first Lagos experience popcorn business, I brought like a bag of corn and I finished it in few hours. In fact, before 12 a.m. it was over. I was excited, and there's a lot of lesson in this. And I thought that's the way it's gonna go. Next time, guess what I did? I borrowed money, over 300,000, bought like 10 bags of corn, went to Coca-Cola, bought crates of drinks, got expanded. I was too sure I was going to make it. I'm a blow. My blow. Guess what? That was the Lagos experience that it rained. And this was just shortly after my mother's death. It was painful. You know, I couldn't cry. Bag of corn, it was, some of them were even wet. Nobody, you know, because people were not buying. Drinks that are put inside, you know, ice blocks, nobody was buying. Thank God, power of mentor. My older brother, who is also a mentor of mine, had insisted that I should go and buy the drinks from Coca-Cola depot and have an agreement with them that if it remains, we will return it and they will refund our money. I remember I kept arguing with him that forget that one. We will finish this thing. You don't understand. Last year when I came, right, the little I brought finish in 3 hours. Isha said he insisted. Go to a depot. Have an agreement with them that if this thing doesn't finish, you will return it. That was one of the biggest saving grace. I also went to buy popcorn machine. I bought about 4 or something, or 5 if not. Got some tin. You know, my Ojutiri. The song I feel like singing. Momo Ojumitiri. Momo iti mitibo. Lọ́gán tó dé Olùgbàlà láyé mi létò. Lọ́gán tó dé Olùgbàlà láyé mi létò. Yeah, that's by Tope Alabi. That song always reminds me of experience like this. Ladies and gentlemen, cut the long story short, by morning after that Lagos experience where it rained, we were in serious debt. Serious one. I think the losses was over 150,000. And you need to know what 150,000 was then. Right? That's over 10 years ago. You need to know what it is. It's a lot of money. But Malcolm says I'm a legendary hustler. Legendary hustler. Of course, I had no choice. One of the things I always say this to people is that the reason many of you are giving up is that you have options. So some of you have rich families, rich relatives, right? Your dad is comfortable. Me, I was at the ground. There was no place else to go than I was already at the worst place, right? And that's why sometimes some of the best thing that can happen to you as a person is failure. I may also say this, some of the best thing that could have happened to some of us like me was to have been born into a poor family. Let me repeat it again. Some of the best thing that could have happened to some of us like me was to have been born into a poor family, right? Because there's a level of comfort you enjoy when you are, you know, maybe your parents are comfortable. You know, there's a level of hustle you won't do. I went through a lot. So are you ready for number 3? If you're ready for number 3, business failure, type I'm ready. Come on, everybody talk to me. Number 3. By the way, these are just few. I can give more than 20. But today I'll talk about 4. Okay, if you're ready, type I'm ready. Remember our deal. Share this video 50 times. On all your Facebook group, or your WhatsApp group, or your LinkedIn groups, just keep hitting the share button. Just share. There's also a Facebook party icon. Click on it and start inviting all those you know. Let them join. Let them join. Let them join. Everybody, let them join. Okay? Share, share, share. Hit the share button. Now, number 3. Okay? Cliff is ready. Who else is ready for number 3? If you're ready, type I'm ready. I'm ready. Number 3, I used to organize trade fair. And this even was also a business I did when I was in university. So I will get permission from Student Affairs to get organized trade fair. We had mini campus and permanent campus. So I used to interchange. Then there was a time I felt I needed to scale and do trade fair in permanent campus, PS, we call it, in Agowe. I went to Osu, by the way. So went to PS, and then I got Dean of Student Affairs. They gave me permission. I paid for, canopies. I paid for table and chairs, because the way we used to do it, we had vendors, some of them from even outside the school. They come from Lagos, all over. They take a table for 10,000 naira. They sell for a week, and all of that. Many of them is prepaid, so they will have paid me by 10,000 because I needed their money to pay for the canopy person, the chairs, the tables, and some would pay half. So many of them had paid me. I went to PS. I paid the canopy guy, and usually the canopy guy needs you to pay him a whole lot for the entire week. It gives you discount if you do that. So I paid for the entire week, paid everything. We started day 1, no problem. Day 2, I just suddenly heard that the vice chancellor of my school, okay, funny enough, this vice chancellor was the first former student of Osu to become a vice chancellor. And the vice chancellor of my school had asked us to end the trade fair. So I went back to say I got due approval. I remember, I will never forget holding that paper, that letter, because you always get a letter from Dean of Student Affairs. I got that letter, went to the Dean, trying to push for that. They said, well, it's the order from the VC. That is not like they wanted to stop it, but the VC said there was armed robbery that took place because the place we stood was close to where banks are, and that armed robbery had happened some time ago, and he's afraid that if armed robbers come again, they could shoot all of us doing trade fair there. So I then went to appeal that okay, we could move to another place. In fact, what I did was to actually move. So the second day, moved all of us away from where close to the banks, and again they came to us that the VC said he wanted us out. So I remember going with the letter to the VC, and we had a meeting somewhere with some of his entourage, and I prostrated begging him that my mother had died. I needed that money to pay for my tuition fee, to pay for my school fees, and that he should please, and begging him with the name of how we would do, begging, I appeal. He looked at me. Now, and this is a lesson to some of us who are in position of authority. It is better to just explain to people why you want to do something and not gloat over it, right? Because if I look back, I think the pain wasn't that I was stopped. The pain was the mockery, the gloat, the harassment, the ridiculous accusations. Because I remember I came with the letter. Of course, as at that time, the Dean of Student Affairs was already denying that he never gave any approval for it and all of that. So I had to come with the letter and say, the signature is there, sir. See the signature of the, the Dean and all of that. I begged, and of course, I went back to my vendors. Another lesson: always confront, okay, the will I call it the customers or the people you are dealing with when things don't go the way you want. Always learn to face them. Always learn to face them. Because I went back to all of them and I started apologizing. Of course, many of them held me, and I was a pastor on campus, so some of them, pastor, hey, It was embarrassing. Of course, some later, incidentally, some other vendors came to beg the ones who didn't want to agree that, look, this man has explained this thing. He showed us a letter. No, they said he didn't get approval, but he showed you the letter. Right, here's the letter that showed, and you can see the signature of these people there. And we had to be begging all the vendors, and I promised that the next trade fair, I was then going to compensate them, where whatever the money was, they could carry it over. They did 2 days, so it was remaining 3 more days. And by the way, I fulfilled that promise. It wasn't in Osu again, but I had to organize trade fair in Covenant University, organize trade fair in the Bells University, and I had to compensate all my, all my vendors. I had to compensate all of them. And it was one of those experiences you face in business, and but you don't give up. Again, why am I sharing all these stories with you? So that sometimes you look at people, they look young, and you assume they are lucky. Listen, one thing I've never been lucky. I don't know what that word is. I've been lucky. I've enjoyed grace, meaning I have put my own part on the table and God added his own to it. But I had never been lucky. I don't know what that word is. I've always worked hard for. In fact, just like my mentor will always say, I would have been surprised if I'm not where I am today. I would have been shocked. In fact, I probably would have been just to have accused God of partiality if I'm not where I am today. Okay, because it was from one failure to another, but a strong determination that we ain't giving up here. We will keep at this thing until it works. One of the things, quote unquote, I learned, and I always say, is that success is not an option. It is the only option. So there is no room for failure. We win or we win. We keep at this thing until it works. I made a vow many years ago, okay, that legally I will make it in this country. If there is any legal way to succeed, I will make it. It was a vow. I might have been born into a poor family, but a wealthy family must come out of me. It was a vow. Whatever I needed to do legally to make it happen, I was ready to pay the price. Are you? Are you ready to do the same? That you're going to do everything legal to succeed. Listen, it is hard to make it in Nigeria. I've been there. And that's why a lot of times when people come here to my office and look at me like I'm privileged and begin to tell me about the problems they face, I look at someone that I say, guess what? Did you think I was born in America? There is nothing you are telling me you face I've not faced times 10. There's nothing. There's nothing. Because even after all these challenges I mentioned to you, I now decided to even look for a job. They still told me there's no job, that there's no table for me to sit. That okay, maybe business is not even meant for me. Let me look for a job. Don't pay me for 6 months. That's what I wrote in my cover letter. Don't pay me for 6 months. I was still told that they don't have a place for me to sit. So and I want to encourage young people. All that you need to do is just refuse to give up. That's all that the universe is asking from you. Just refuse to give up. That is the ingredient of success in this country. Refuse to give up. Just vow that I will not give up. I will not give up. So very painful story. Again, I don't know if you are enjoying this. If you are enjoying this type, I'm enjoying. Everybody, come on, talk to me. If you are enjoying this type, I'm enjoying. Everybody, talk to me. Type, I'm enjoying. I want you to please share this video on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, share across all social media platforms. Click on the Facebook party icon, invite people now. Let's get everybody in here. Okay, get everybody in here. Invite them. Okay, Adeboye says, I'm impressed, well done. Your words are what youth of Nigeria needs. Cleve, I'm enjoying this from Dubai. Good to see you, Cleve. Thank you for enjoying. Okay, thank you for joining. My next question, or my next, the last story is the fifth story actually, and it's a very, very funny experience also in business that I'd experienced. So, and this was, I used to sell bulk SMS. It was actually the first business I did, my first 100 million naira in selling of bulk SMS. So then I started this business with 1,000 naira over about 12 years ago. And I remember after trying to get a job, I didn't. You know, I remember printing 100 CVs, 100 cover letter, and it says, don't pay me for 6 months until I prove my worth in your organization. And I still didn't get the job. I had to go back to my bulk SMS business I started. I looked at my hand, what can I continue to do now that nobody wants to give me a job? So I came up with an idea of going to schools. Again, many years ago, about 10 years or more ago, that I was going to go to schools, all these private schools, to convince them that they needed SMS solutions. By the way, I didn't have a laptop, as at this time I'm talking to you. I also didn't even have a bulk SMS website. I was using somebody else's website. So I went to school, convinced them that if they could create an account, like have an account with me, pay me 500 naira or 1,000 naira, and then give me the numbers of all the parents they have in that school. And anytime they need to send message to parents, whether there's a public holiday, whether there was issues where they needed parents to pay their tuition fee, that they should just text me that message and I will just do a bulk SMS to all the parents. The first challenge I had in this business was each school I went to, they said, we don't even have the phone number of the parents. That was the first thing. I said, again, creativity came in. I said, man, that's a simple issue, right? Let me go with one of the teachers to all these classes and let's tell all the parents, all the pupils, that when they are coming the next day, they must come with the phone number of their parents. And I will collate all the database for the school. I will do that for free. And I will come back tomorrow. All I need is they should sign up with minimum of 500 or 1,000. What many of them didn't know, and by the way, I know many of them who gave me that 500 or 1,000 pitied me. They just looked at, because I would be there, I would have trekked, and by the way, I couldn't afford to even take Okada, so I'm trekking, sweating, in the hot sun. They look at me, some of them ask me, I say I'm a graduate, and they could feel that if we don't give this guy, because many of them had to just sign up out of pity. It wasn't even because they really needed the solution, but out of pity that this guy don't suffer. And every day I was going to 20 schools in a day. I would trek to 20 different schools, convincing them to work with me. It's the same bulk SMS business that, by 2015, we did over 200 million. We started consulting, for multinationals, PZ, Vita, even GT Bank. Several multinationals became our clients. By the time, and that's, you don't give up. You don't give up. Method should change, but giving up shouldn't be something you should do. Method should change. Now, if I going to schools and from one school to the other, trying to get all these people, I won't be here, ladies and gentlemen. I will not be here if I didn't push that hard. I won't be here. I won't be here. I want to thank God for how far He's helped us. And I've decided to share this story with you. I'm not very encouraged. If you're encouraged, type I'm encouraged. I think I've done an hour already, but I'll take a few questions before we wrap up. If you have questions, feel free to type them. But if you're encouraged, type I'm encouraged. I'm doing this to encourage as many of you as possible, because in this country, and I want you to write this down, it's a quotable quote, everybody listening to me should type that down now. In this country, your biggest crime is that you are poor. Let me repeat myself again. In Nigeria and in any part of Africa, your biggest crime is that you are poor. Your biggest crime is not that you're a thief. Your biggest crime is not even that you committed murder. Right? Your biggest crime is that you are poor. Which is the reason why you see me coming every day. And you all know, I come here to teach you with passion from the depth of my heart. Okay? This is not, a gimmicks to make any money. It is to add value to you. Because I've been there. And if it's possible for me to do by one miracle, make all of you rich, I will do it. I just know that you are in trouble in this part of the world. If you are poor, you are in trouble. You have to find a way to become wealthy. Legally. But it has to be legal. Because anytime you do it in an illegal way, you have spoiled our name. You've made it more difficult for many of us to become successful. Please give it to Daniel or somebody who knows how to operate that. That's a very expensive camera. Okay? So anytime you do anything, right, without, illegally, you are soiling our name. We need you to do it right. We need you to do it legally. You have to do it the right way. You have to, but it is possible. It is possible. So I've shared with you today 4 different stories of my failures in business that led me to building a multi-billion naira corporation today, or conglomerate. We're into real estate and several sectors. The first one was how I used to hawk electronics. Some of you don't know. I used to hawk electronics on the street. Yes, hawk electronics. I used to sell popcorn in public events. Popcorn. Yeah, buy popcorn. I had a manual machine. I used to roll. I enjoyed it. And by the way, I did it with dignity. I was never ashamed selling popcorn. I was never ashamed selling electronics. By the way, I had known I would be here as at that time. I knew it was a level. It was the phase I was in. I knew there was dignity in labor. And I was proud to do anything legal. I was proud. Some people mocked me. Some people felt it was below me. Well, I saw that as nonsense and arrogance. I didn't see it as below me. I kept at it. I used to organize trade fair. I had some terrible experience organizing trade fair. Of course, I used to sell bulk SMS, move from school to school, 20 schools a day, convincing them to do bulk SMS with me. But to God alone be the glory. We're not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. Amen. We're not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. Yes, my brother Sunday Aoyemi says, in this country, your biggest crime is that you are poor. Very true. Thank you for typing that. And I want everybody to type it because it's the truth. Evangelist IK God, in this country, your biggest crime is that you are poor. Bumi Salako says, good job. It's great that you are giving back. I wish Nigerian youth will listen to your story and know it's possible. I wish so. I'm always shocked when this population is, if I were to be talking sports now, we should have 1,000 viewers. We need to change this. And I want everybody watching me to take it as a duty that anytime we're doing Facebook Live, you will share this video till we get massive viewership. Okay, because the movement that we're running and the people must show up. Okay? Ola Laide says, in Africa, your biggest crime is that you are poor. Very true. It is your biggest crime. King, in this country, your biggest crime is that you're poor. Very true. Chikodi says, I'm encouraged, sir. God bless you. Kudos, sir. Thank you for thanking me. Ola Laide says, please tell us about your experience with MLM. That's another story for another day. I'll probably do part 2 of this maybe tomorrow. And I can tell you my MLM experience also. Bumi Salako says, doors don't open to those who knock. Who do not knock, rather. Persist knocking till they make it open. Very true. Doors don't open to those who do not knock. You have to keep knocking till the door open. Evangelist Ike God says, I'm a civil servant, what business can I do with 500,000? Well, go to my YouTube page at Stephen Akitayo TV on YouTube. I've done several videos there that shows you several businesses you can start with 500,000. The beginning of success in any business is mentorship, and not actually the business itself. So what you need to start with is the mentorship. So go start your mentorship and sign up for any of the mentorship there, and I promise you make the money. Malcolm X Idris says, buying shares from Zoom network during this time might be the best deal. Well, who told you Zoom cannot crash? Cliff says, in Africa your biggest crime, yes, he's quoting me, in Africa your biggest crime is that you're poor. Chris, yay, Kala Maliki. You know, that's the person who calls me the general. That's the nickname he gives me. So General Kita, you're our leading light. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm honored. Okay, that's Chris Kala Maliki from San Antonio, Texas. Thank you, sir, for joining. Bumi Salako says, I think I met you and your family at DFW Airport some years ago. That's possible. That's possible. Absolutely possible. You might have met me. Sonny says, what's a life-changing story? Yeah, you know, it's the story behind the glory. Yeah, story behind the glory. Uche Naobinwa says, you have not failed until you quit. Yes, I'm sure that's what he's trying to say. Absolutely, you're right. You've not failed until you give up, until you quit. You're only a failure when you give up. As long as you refuse to give up, you are a failure. I don't care how much money you have lost trying to do business. I don't care what people call you, 419, whatever. As long as you know you are not 419, you know that you are not actually out there to swindle people, you are committed to giving value for cash, then keep at it. Keep at it. It will speak in the end. You see, one beautiful thing about dream is that it always speaks loudest at the end. Loudest, loudest. So don't give up. It's darkest before dawn. Go continue. And I'm hoping you all are encouraged, because sometimes when you start hearing somebody owns real estate companies, is doing well, you see pictures, it's easy to just begin to assume that some luck, some people are behind. Even the people you say politicians are behind them, they got their business to a level before anybody begin to support them. Politician, rich people, Godfather or no Godfather, you must have gotten your life to a level before anybody begin to say, you know what, I believe in what you're doing, I want to put it the same way, right? You must have. Today now, you know, we have people who buy our real estate without seeing the estate. Today now, 90% of our customers have never seen our property before. Today now, we have people who invest in our company without knowing me, without even meeting me. Today now, we have pre-launch sales. One of our estates, we raised 100 million in 2 weeks in a pre-launch. We're trying to raise money to complete purchase of that land. We raised the money in 2 weeks. Okay? Even before we launched it. Because people now believe, but they won't believe in you at the beginning. That's why you cannot afford to give up on yourself. I always tell people, everybody else has the right to give up on you. Everybody else. But you dare not give up on you. How dare you give up on yourself? If you don't believe in you, who will? You owe it to yourself. If there's anything you owe yourself, is to believe in yourself. Everybody else has the right to say what they feel like. They are entitled to it. It's their opinion. A lot of people say rubbish against me at the beginning. It was their opinion. Some people say I'll never make it at the beginning. It was their opinion. Where are they now? Okay? Some say I was deceiving myself. Where are they now? Even in the university, I have many of my colleagues who say I will never amount to anything because they saw how I was busy doing business. Instead of to them facing my books. Okay, years later, they said, well, you were right. Okay, so people will say what they want to say. They're entitled to it. Don't be angry. Understand that they're entitled to their opinion, but you owe it to yourself to do well. You owe it to yourself. 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 Yes, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. Nobody else. It's a Sunday Aoyemi says, I love this. You have no right to give up on yourself. Yes, you have it. You have no right to give up on yourself. You have no right. Because if you give up on you, who will believe in you? Who? I tell people that look, I have the right to believe anything about myself, including, in case you have not heard, right? We will redefine definition of rich men in the world. When they say you're a rich man, Stephen Akita will define that. Okay? Among the very wealthy, we will define wealth. We have not started, though. We're just these small boys starting, but we'll get there. Okay? And then you say, I'm talking too much. I have the right, it's my opinion, right, to say it. We have offices all over the world. I have said it. We will have offices all over the world. You say, oh, that's tall dream. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to. You can't arrest me. You cannot arrest me. It's my opinion, and I'm what? Entitled to it. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to keep sharing this video and invite people to listen to this. Send this video to anybody you know that is about to give up in their business, in their investment. Send the video to them. I know it will inspire them. I love you all. I'm Stephen Akita. Remember to follow me across all social media handle at Stephen Akita on Instagram, Twitter, at Stephen Akita TV on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye. I'm known as Africa's most sought-after investment coach. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm a realtor. Proud to be a realtor. I love you. By the way, I'm a salesman. I'm proud to sell. I started selling for popcorn, hawking, and I'm proud. I will still sell. I tell people, if I lose all my business today, God forbid, the only job I can take is the job of a salesman. Okay, that's the only job. If you want to build wealth, love sales, build the skill to sell. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.